there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm getting into some makeup from Cle de Peau. They recently had their friends and family sale, so I picked up some new to me makeup in a new shade of the Luminizing Face Enhancer. This is Twilight's Glow. This is 201, and I don't have a lot from this brand, but this packaging, the swatch just looks so pretty and ethereal. So I'm gonna try this out with you. I also picked up some favorites from the brand in the color category. So I picked up shade number 2 of the cream blush. This is Pale Fig. So pretty. Definitely a corally warm pink. I also picked up the lip glorifier. Again, packaging to die for. This is looks very bright pink, but it is very sheer. So I'll be trying all of this today. Also, I'm going to put on my Complexion products I have from this brand already. I have the Radiant Fluid Foundation Natural in the shade B10 Light Beige. I also have the previous formula of the concealer. This is SPF 25. And I believe I have the shade Ivory. And then I have the Radiant Corrector for Eyes, also I believe in beige. This is one of those click pens. So I'm gonna do Complexion first, just briefly kind of go over my thoughts on these products. Again, I do have a separate review video on all of these, and then we'll get into the new stuff. I'm really excited. Cle de Peau, definitely a brand I have avoided for a long time, but this channel has encouraged me to branch out. I've avoided it not because I didn't want to ever try it, but because it is one of those top cost luxury makeup brands. I mean, this is almost $100, but that's why I got it during the sale, so at least I could get some money off. There was a minimum spend, unfortunately, to get that the discount, but I thought it would be worth it if I could at least get some money off, even though I had to buy multiple products. Before I get into the face though, I'm going to share swatches of these color products, starting with the Luminizing Face Enhancer. Again, this is Twilight's Glow number 201, one of the new shades. I'm totally new to this brand. I know sometimes they repackage and reformulate, but I believe this one is a new one. Correct me if I'm wrong. The next swatch I have is the cream blush in shade 2 Pale Fig. And the lip glorifier in shade Pink. Hopefully those swatches enticed you just a little bit. So let's get into Complexion quickly. If you want to skip over this piece, I have timestamps below. If you guys are already familiar with these Complexion products, go ahead and skip ahead. If you guys are curious, then stay tuned. So as I said, I have this Radiant Fluid Foundation. I got this year, I believe, or late last year. This is one of their newer formulations, and I'll show you what it looks like today, but it's not my favorite foundation. To me, like, it's okay, but I'll show you what it looks like. I'm gonna put some primer on. I'm using the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. Use whatever primer you guys want to. B10 Light Beige. Taking it on my glass palette here. 2 pumps. Taking my damp sponge from Real Techniques and digging in. This is a medium coverage foundation. This is the non-matte formula. It's not really gonna give you a glow because it says, much of a glow because it says natural. It's just gonna give you that in between, maybe soft matte, or I don't know how you want to describe it, in between matte and glowy. I know a lot of people reviewed this one when it came out, and I have to say I don't see a lot of people using it in videos since. Maybe it's one of those that they just, you know, put in their description that they use it all the time, but it's not something I hear people talking about regularly. But I have to say, I think this brand is not a huge hit among YouTube because of the expense, the accessibility, but also I'm not sure that they come out with tons of new products all the time. So this brand, if you guys don't know, is Japanese. The parent company is Shiseido, which you might be familiar with. The packaging of this brand is one of the best in my opinion. It's so pretty. I mean, right now this foundation looks pretty decent, much improved from what my skin looked like before. I think for me on this one, in my initial review, because of the cost, this foundation's over $100. I want it to be really amazing. If it wasn't at this price point, I wouldn't be such a harsh critic. I mean, it does look good right now. Applying it, I'm like, oh, maybe I should use this foundation more. It's the heat, I'm in the heat of summer, so I'm not super interested in using it right now, but it does look pretty for this video. What I didn't like about it is that this area I still wasn't the most blurred or smooth, and I felt like the wear time wasn't that great either. I still had some texture issues that other foundations that are a fraction of the price, this area looks better. You know, my areas with the big pores around the nose, cheek area right here. I've seen my skin look better with other foundations that do not cost as much. But I would say overall it's very pretty and decent, and I think if this was at a lower price point, I probably wouldn't have as many complaints. Of course, I want things to be perfect no matter how much I spend, but I just expect more out of this. So I just don't know that it does anything special, but it doesn't do a lot wrong either. I think there's, as I mentioned, the pieces that could be improved, like better wear time, more blurring. No, a lot of those things could be just me, my skin. Maybe it just doesn't go well with me. I don't know, but usually my best application with medium coverage foundations is with a damp sponge, and I think that is true for this one. This is the best it's going to look. I don't think a brush is going to be any better, or my fingers. So let's move on to the concealers that I have. I usually start with this stick concealer first, and I like this. It's a little bit tricky because it's a stick, and I don't know, some of you are probably familiar with sticks. I don't buy these normally because they're thick and they tend to crease easier, but I think the finish and coverage is nice. It's also a little bit neutrally yellow for me, but I'm taking my damp sponge and blending it out. I also just find you don't want to overdo it. Blending it out is more of a challenge. Sometimes I feel like it just wants to stay put right where I put it. But some people swear by this concealer. That's why I ended up picking up these two concealers, because both of them a little bit different purpose, but they both have very good reviews. But you guys can see a decent amount of coverage. I wouldn't say one swipe and you're getting full coverage. That's totally fine with me. I generally don't want a full coverage concealer, but I know a lot of you do. So that is one swipe, and then using the Radiant Corrector pen, one of those clicky formulas. This is a lighter shade than the stick one, even though it's the same name of shade, Ivory. But I think this gives you, because it's a corrector pen, it does give some brightening. So I like the combination of these. Sometimes I just use one or the other, but the combination kind of makes it more coverage. You guys can see that my flaws are disappearing. Just a brighter, fresher under eye. All the wrinkles and creases and shadows are still there, but not as visible. So it's just a trick. Just a trick. But you guys can see how much coverage I'm getting from this, and compared to the foundation, there's quite a bit of difference in coverage. That's why I say that foundation, you know, one layer gives you a good medium, but not the coverage that the concealer gives. If that bothers you, you might want to just use a lot less concealer to kind of balance that out. Use more foundation, or use a different foundation with these concealers, because they really kind of blank things out. So they're nice. I do like them. I should probably use them more on my tired days like today. So that's it for those Complexion products. I know that was kind of a quick overview application of what they're like. They're not, I would say if you're gonna pick something, I would choose between these two, whatever your preference. If you don't have a brightening pen like this, I think this is actually a pretty good one. I'm not familiar with a lot of concealer sticks out there in the luxury makeup space, so I don't know that they have a lot of competition, but if you really like sticks, you might want to try this at least once. The foundation, I mean, if you like the way this looks, you like the shade, you think it's a good match for you, maybe try it out at a department store, get a little sample and swatch before you purchase an over $100 foundation. I mean, I recommend that with anything, but especially at that price point. So moving on to, so now we have everything settled. I'm gonna move on to the cream blush before I kind of apply a setting powder. So this is this gorgeous cream blush, and this is the shade number 2, Pale Fig. Even though there's only 4 shades to choose from, I had a really hard time. I thought, well, you know, there's more of a natural rosy looking one, and the pictures online don't do it justice. The swatch definitely makes this more corally pink, warmer pink than what I thought it was going to be. I don't know if that comes across on camera, but the swatch I think showed that. But let's go ahead and put this on. This is just so smooth. I'm not quite sure how this is going to be. Ooh, so far that is really pretty pink. I don't know. You guys should comment below if you guys enjoy pink blushes. I know I buy a few of them, but I feel like it's not like a universal shade. Probably peach is more universal that people like. I know it depends kind of on your undertone and things. So this looked warm in the pan, but in person it's pretty pink. It's not super warm on the cheeks, not coming across that way, at least to me. But let me know if you like this shade of pink. I do like the formula of this. I was a little bit afraid that this was not going to be as pigmented, but it is pretty perfect. It's not sticky. It just kind of blends into the foundation and becomes one with it like right away. I'll have to let you know probably in a later video. I'll use this later on how long it lasts, because that's important for a cream blush. Sometimes they just kind of disappear and sink into the skin and you never see them again. But this, I like the formula. I can see why this is a lot of people's favorite product from this brand. It's really pretty. I kind of want to get a different shade already. I do like a pink blush, but sometimes if you're going more warmer, you want something more peachy or even orange. But that is really, really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to apply a little setting powder before I get into this beautiful highlighter. I'm using the Junkay loose powder in light to set my face. Now going into this gorgeous packaging. This packaging is to die for. So this is Cle de Peau Beauty. This is what the back looks like. I know I have fingerprints on here. It just has the packaging information on the sticker on the back. Get this gold reflect, this textured top packaging. So pretty. And just so you guys know that it comes, when you open it up, it comes with this plastic packaging and it says, replace, put this film back after use. So you actually put it right over the powder, covers it completely, and then shuts the mirror. That way your mirror doesn't get all powdery, your brush doesn't get all full of powder or overly full. So it comes with that, which I wish more brands would do this, so you can use this mirror for other things. I mean, so clever, love that. Although I wish it kind of had a hinge so it didn't come out. It also comes with this beautiful sleeve to place the compact in. Really cute. And it comes with a little brush. I have to say, I normally don't use the brushes that come with products, so I do feel like this was a waste for me to have this. I'd rather have this be full of product for the cost, but it does come with a brush. I know people use it, but this is the packaging. I didn't realize in person, and I think I did swatch this already, so I kind of ruined the top coat, but the top coat of this highlight has micro silver glitters in there. And in the swatch, it doesn't look too overwhelming with glitter. If it was chunky glitter, I would not like this and would be a little upset. But it looks like it's pretty refined in terms of reflection. So I'm going to take a couple swipes with this brush and hit the high point of the cheekbone. I was a little bit worried about picking the right color because there's a lot to choose from. I wanted to make sure I picked up one of the new shades. I hope this is new. But it seemed like these are not, the color doesn't quite matter. I mean, maybe a little bit with your undertone. I knew I would have to pick something on the lighter side for me. And I knew this was going slightly pink and purple-ish. Wow. I kind of heard that this is underwhelming and not that bright, but if I just use this brush and maybe kind of made things concentrated, I'll blend it out a little bit. But this is very noticeable of a highlighter. It's not subtle at all, especially when you apply it with that little brush there. Now, I normally apply my highlighter with a fan brush, and you could certainly like spend some time making this a little bit more diffused, a little more natural looking, if there is such a thing. Just kind of blend that out, take the edge off a little bit. There we go. That is a stunning highlighter. Really pretty. It does have those micro glitters in there. I think you guys can see that. I think you can see it in the pan as well, hopefully. I'll do a close-up swatch for you. Little tiny glitter. You kind of get that moonlit kind of vibe with the purple. There's a lot of purple silver shift in this one. If that is not your thing, then maybe choose a different silver color with a I don't know, a different shift to it. But I think this is really pretty. It's not super purple, it's really subtle. All right, so the last product I have to try with you is the lip glorifier. They do have different shades of this. The packaging of this maybe looks a little bit boring. I love that this is a thinner lipstick tube. This pink, light pink with gold shimmer in it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's super subtle but really pretty. The gold at the top, I mean, this is like a nice, really expensive lip balm, but this seemed to be a lot of people's favorites. And there's multiple shades. Does this have a rose in it? The description of these things is very vague. Define your most radiant, most colorful life. There is fragrance in here. I don't know if it's rose. This writing is really small. I feel like I can taste rose or smell it, or there's something in there that's different. This shade is interesting. I'm going to take this off and reapply because I don't know if the foundation makes it look really light, but it's kind of not what I expected for this color, this bright hot pink. Let me try it. Okay, that's looking better without foundation on my lips. What an interesting product. Is there something that's like numbing in here? Menthol? It does say menthol in here. Okay, let me know what's happening to my lips. There's definitely a sensation happening here. It says lip glorifier conditioning balm, glow revival conditioning balm. So I don't know what that means. This is interesting. I kind of like the color, especially with the blush and the highlight. It's very youthful and innocent looking and springtime, and I kind of like the vibe of this. It's very different than a lot of makeup I've been buying in the past. It's very fresh and romantic. Like I could wear some like beautiful ball gown with this look. Not the eyes, just ignore that. But with the skin and the cheeks and the lips, it's really pretty and very youthful. So I like these products so far. First impressions, wow. Okay, Cle de Peau. Okay, so I mentioned I did the friends and family sale. I got 2 samples with my order, but not a lot of free gifts. 2 little skincare samples. I'm not gonna open them up, but just want to show you what I got in my package. The box packaging, you guys, here is the highlighter, which seems to have different sort of packaging than everything else. Everything else is this like navy sparkling color with gold. Very pretty. All right, guys, I'm gonna take some close-up shots so you guys can see the final look, and then I'll get into my final thoughts. Guys, that was the final look. Hopefully you guys can get a sense of the sheen and the tones and the colors of the products that I picked up. I think the video really spoke to what this highlighter does. It's not going to be in your face, but there's plenty of shine, especially when you tilt your head in the right direction. It's definitely there. To me, it's not subtle. But I think looking straight on at me, like, you may not notice that it's there, but you know, when you get to the side, that's where you see that glory. But some of you want that highlighter from Space. This is not it. This is on the natural but not subtle side of highlights. And you can definitely add on more layers if you want more. It's very silvery. It's got that tint of purple. I think it's gorgeous, and it's unlike any other highlighter that I have in my collection. But let's talk about my recommendations and do I recommend it, final thoughts, all that. Probably the star product of what I picked up. Do I think it's worth it? The packaging really does it for me on this one. It's really pretty. I know I should have higher expectations, but this is stunning. I can't speak yet if this highlighter lasts all day or anything or what, but this meets my expectations and exceeds them. The highlighter on the face. The packaging is even more beautiful in person. I think the color combination of colors is better than I thought it was be. It's really going to be. It's really hard to see online what this is going to look like. You know, as a swatch, I think you can like barely tell what it's going to be. But now that I have it, I don't have any regrets. It's hard for me to recommend this for everyone because it's at $95 price point. It's really high. I think you can definitely get something similar to this at a lower price point, but it's not going to look this pretty. Do I think you need it? I don't know. I have to try other shades. I mean, if they're all this great, I mean, having one of these in your collection probably wouldn't hurt. I mean, it's that pretty. I think it's something special about this one that gives you a lot without looking like a lot. It's one of those products that like enhances your skin in a very pretty romantic way. So I can only say positive things about it really, besides the price point. So I'll leave that up to you. If it's not on your budget and you have plenty of highlighters already that kind of have this silvery purple tint, I mean, packaging aside, you probably don't need it, but it's so pretty, so pretty. The blush, I mean, this is like a really easy blush to use for cream. It almost, the packaging, I mean, it's in a pot. It reminds me of the Painterly paint pots, but it's even a lighter texture. I love that this is such a light texture. It's not tacky at all. It almost feels like not a cream. The texture is so light. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really easy to use, and the color payoff you get from this is pretty great. It does look a little scary in the swatch in the pan. It does seem like it's really warm, but on the face, it's not too warm. It actually looks pretty nice. And if you're fair like me, I would suggest getting this color or going to a store and swatching it, because it's one of those shades that perks you up and makes you look younger, in my opinion. I know that's a taboo word and I don't want to give you like hopes and promises, but for me, on my pale skin, it perks me up. Now, if I had bronzer and contour, maybe I wouldn't feel like I need this as much. I would have something else kind of warming up my skin, especially with a bronzer. But this by itself, it definitely wakens things up. So I like the shade, the texture. The texture is probably the best thing about this product. The shade is surprising to me that I like it so much. I do like the packaging. I hope it doesn't dry out. It says it lasts 24 months, so I have high hopes. It's gonna make sure I seal it really well. There's no sort of safety cap on here, so hopefully it doesn't dry out, but it looks pretty. I'll have to update you guys on the wear time on these, but because this is at a lower price point, I would say because of this formula, I don't know if there's a lot of other products that are exactly this texture. I haven't seen any. I'm sure they exist. Let me know if you guys have dupes for this. But the texture and ease of this one is pretty great, that I do think it's special. I would probably suggest getting the cream blush over the highlight, just because I know highlight is not for everybody, but blush does work for a lot of people. So this is nice. The Lip Glorifier. Not quite what I expected. I don't think you realize online like how bright that is. On the lips, it's much more subdued. So it's one of those tricky products. You guys will have to let me know what's in here. It kind of smells rosy, and on the lips it kind of feels numbing. I read menthol in the ingredients, but it wasn't like at the top, so I'm not sure if it's all in my head. I don't really feel that numbing sensation anymore. I don't really smell it, but when you apply it, you definitely get all of that going on. I mean, I love the packaging. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen to my lips. Is all of a sudden it's gonna be softer over time if I keep using this. If that's the case, I'll let you know, but just first impressions, I'm not sure that it's worth picking this one up. I mean, I feel like I have a pretty lip balm on, but it's not like ultra moisturizing feeling, you know? It's like a light layer of a petroleum product is what it feels like. So those are my first impressions, recommendations. Out of anything, I probably recommend this blush the most, even though I was a little scared at first. And then I would choose the highlighter, and then the lip glorifier would be in last place. But let me know your thoughts on all of these products. Do you plan to pick any of these up? Do you already have them in your collection? Do you have multiple shades? What's your favorite shade of blush, highlight? What else do you recommend from this brand that I should try out? I showed you the 3 complexion products that I have. I gave you my thoughts, but what else do I need to try? Please comment below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.